Therapy definitely helped me become the person I am today, a person I actually like. Let me start by saying therapy is a very difficult thing to do. I've been doing it for years now. It's an endless journey, but it's something I find pretty fun. I kind of treat my sessions as this thing where I go and find out more about myself, spot the things that kind of just go over my head because I've had it for such a long time. I don't really question why it was there in the first place. There's a lot of things that have come from therapy that have helped me be more like myself. As a very, very necessary disclaimer, obviously, I'm not a therapist. I don't claim to be, I don't try to be. I'm just a gal that spoke with therapists a lot over the years. You're just trying to protect yourself the best way you know how based on your own experience. Okay, that's not revolutionary by any means, but let's just sit with that for a minute. Let's just think about it. You and I, we are just trying to protect ourselves from pain, from hurt, from uncertainty, from death. Really though, this is present at every single moment in your life, every situation, every interaction, every relationship, every motivation you have, no matter how small, exists to put you in a better position than where you are at the moment. Maybe you're gonna get hit by a car, or maybe somebody said something mean. Both of those things are threatening in varying degrees, but threatening nonetheless. I have no idea what's gonna happen. This is all I know right now, and I know I'm safe here. I have no idea if there's anything threatening over there until I actually do the thing. Take, for example, you're chatting with somebody and you kind of overreact on something they said, and it's not even meant to be personal. Dig into that, like, why did you overreact? Why did you feel offended? What about it threatened you? What were you thinking in that moment? What was going through your mind? What did you internalize it as? What did it mean to you? I always love that quote. I can't quote it for the life of me. You can't control other people, you can only control your own emotions, that thing. Honestly, word. Understanding the fact that you cannot control other people, you can only control your own reactions. That helps a lot with just moving through the world in a way that isn't governed by other people. If everybody in the world was the ocean and you're just like a little boat, then no matter what people say, you're just reacting to it. You're getting swayed by the wave. You're getting thrown around. It's freaking exhausting. Because I remember being there. I remember a lot of emotions I had in the past where it was because somebody said this thing, because they did this to me. You can just not take that. You can just choose to not take anything anybody says that you don't agree with. You can choose to not be so emotionally volatile based on what the heck happens in your day. You start the day at such a high and then you go up and down, up and down, up and down through the whole day. Pick and choose what you take in. Sometimes these things get in the way of you living your life and stepping outside of your comfort zone. I'm gonna tell you a story. A prime example of this in my life. When I was in my third year of university, there was this internship program. The people that apply get tutorials, tips, and how to position yourself better to getting a job. You get a 16-month internship at these local companies if you get accepted and get an offer. So I was like, that sounds pretty damn good. But what if I apply and I interview at all these places and they all reject me? I ended up going with it because, one, there was not a lot of bad things that could happen with me applying. I kind of use emotional dissociation strategically. So when there's something that is emotionally overwhelming for me, I take the emotional part of it out and just go through the motions. I did this when I ended up studying abroad in Hong Kong. I did this with the internship, interviewing and handling rejection. Like, girl, you don't even know. You don't even know if you're gonna get an interview. Let's cross that bridge when we get there. Fill out a form, write your name, your email, your phone number, make a resume. Those are tasks. Those are just tasks. They don't mean anything. They don't mean rejection. Stop trying to predict stuff. You have no idea what's gonna happen. It's just you getting in your own way, and yes, it's the unknown. Yes, I don't understand what's gonna happen, but let's find out. Let's find out. If I really think about it, I was just being dramatic. as I tend to do. So I applied. I got introduced to so many people. I got introduced to local companies that I never would have gotten introduced to. I ended up getting 3 offers and ended up having a job ultimately lined up after graduation. If you go out and do things you wouldn't normally do, you're gonna end up experiencing things you've never experienced before. If your fear is looking dumb, if your fear is not knowing what you're doing, you're never gonna know everything about everything. And come on, you're learning something new. That's better than sitting, knowing you don't know something, and having that fear of being dumb preventing you from having experiences you've never had before. I think that's stupider. Yeah. Whew. Jeez Louise. Okay, next thing. It's never really about you. People are self-interested and are motivated to do things that benefit them. I know that sounds super, super bleak, but trust me when I say there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's a good thing about this. Whatever people do is about them. It is about their goals. It is about their motivations. It is about their experiences and how they're feeling, their emotions that causes them to do the things they do, which is the same about you. It's the same thing you do. When we were talking about potentially overreacting to something somebody said, it's ultimately because you interpreted it in a sort of way. But there's also, like, just because somebody offended you doesn't mean that they were trying to offend you. And you just kind of have to deal with things like that. That's going to happen all the time, by the way. People you encounter are going to do things that they want to do because they want to do it and has nothing at all to do with you. So back in my early uni days, I had a couple of friends from high school that I was very close with, but they ended up going to the same school, whereas I went to a different school in a different city. And when we reconnected, it was very fun and very exciting. But I remember when we were hanging out, they would have so many stories and so many inside jokes of things that happened during that year when they were together and I was in a different place. And I felt very left out. I was outside of these inside jokes they were having. I felt like I was just watching something happen without me, with people that were both very close to me and whose friendships I really valued. So it was just a very hard thing at the moment. I didn't say anything in the moments I was feeling this way because I knew it has nothing to do with me. It hurt to feel like I was missing out. And that's just like a very hard thing to deal with, especially at that age when having friends and social connections feel so crucial. I didn't want to bring up anything because I had no idea. I had no idea what to do about it. And I can't ask, I can't possibly ask, hey guys, like you know how you just have all these inside jokes and experiences without me? Can you just not mention that anytime I'm around? Thanks. That's selfish. That is not dealing with the problem. That is pacifying your ego and delaying growth. If you're going through a hard time, know that it's hard because you're being challenged, and don't run away from it. Honestly, just face it. I ended up bringing this up to them, but only after I've emotionally dealt with it. Yeah, I remember when you guys were talking about this and I just felt so left out and I felt hurt by it, but I know you guys weren't doing it on purpose. I've just kind of worked through it now and all that, and they were so sweet about it. They understood where I was coming from. They felt apologetic, and I felt apologetic that they were feeling apologetic because they shouldn't, there's nothing for them to apologize for. They didn't do anything wrong. You should talk about all these happy moments you guys shared and laugh about, whether or not I was there. There are always going to be moments where you feel left out. I wasn't there. I physically wasn't there. I was in a whole different city. It's okay to wish that things were different, but they're not. Figuring out how to deal with that. When you really subscribe to the idea that people are self-interested and will do things that make them happy and that will benefit them, it changes the way you see care. Think about all the times that you spent with someone because you wanted to. Think about the times someone chose to spend their time with you. Knowing and understanding that we are out here for ourselves, and yet We choose to spend our time and our energy and make memories with people because we want to. Doesn't it just feel so much more precious because of that? You could do anything that could benefit you, and you choose me. You choose me to hang out with. You choose me to check up on. You choose me to maintain and nurture a relationship with. Care takes a whole nother meaning when you know that people don't owe you anything, but they give it to you anyway. I just love that. There's something about that that is so wholesome and heartwarming. Yeah, tell somebody how much you appreciate them without expecting anything back. You have the power to make somebody's day better. You have the power to make somebody's day feel a little bit lighter or feel a bit more appreciated. If people can have a positive effect on you, you can have a positive effect on people too. Just remember that. Oh my God, I forgot there was a cat. Lesson number 3, stop trying to gaslight yourself and invalidate your own experiences just to make it easier for other people to deal with you because you don't want to be problematic, blah, 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 blah. It's not problematic to feel stuff, okay? I know it can sound contradictory, each lesson. It's a balance of both. It's knowing when to put your foot down and be like, you know what? No, this is what I want. And it's fair for me to want these things versus this isn't a hill I want to die on. If you're trying to gaslight yourself, it means you're hurting. It means you don't feel good. Because people that feel good don't try to manipulate and distort the reality to benefit them. You're already having to minimize who you are for the sake of other people, for other people to have an easier time. What about you then? You're having a hard time. Like, no, you shouldn't. Don't compromise. By the way, compromising means both parties get somewhat what they want. I'm kind of angry. Kind of makes me angry. Compromise doesn't mean you try to work with somebody and then you got bulldozed. That's not compromise. I give you permission to not be bulldozed. I feel like if somebody is telling the truth and is being fair, you don't need to piece together their argument for them. You don't need to defend them in your head. You just know that they mean well. You just feel it. If you're trying to do mental acrobats just to make their argument somewhat remotely fair to you, honey, pause. That feels off. Why are you helping them argue with you in your head? Oh, that's so exhausting. Who has the mental capacity for that? I hardly have the mental capacity for me. You're using your own mental energy for somebody else's purpose, for somebody else's arguments. What about yours? Where does that go? Who does that for you? It may not seem like it now, but you're growing distrust for yourself too. Because you can't even stand up for your own self when you need to. If you feel like the whole world is against you, why are you against you? When you shrink your own pain, nothing gets better. The truth is you're gonna feel hurt. People you care about are gonna disappoint you. They're never gonna get it right all the time. That is part of a deeply complicated human relationship. The last thing, don't be so freaking hard on yourself. And I know everybody says this, everybody and they mama been saying this, but it's so hard sometimes to just not compare yourself, especially when people post about the literal good things that is happening in their lives. I do that. You think I post on social media about bad things happening in my life? No. I want to post the good stuff. I know it's hard not to compare yourself to other people, but you have no idea what their life is like. You actually have no idea. All you know is what they choose to share. I'm just sharing stuff about what I learned in therapy, but you have no idea what got me to do therapy in the first place. You don't know how hard somebody else has had it. You don't know how easy somebody else has had it. That is no use trying to speculate. The only thing you can know for sure is your life and what you've had to deal with and what you've gone through. So start there. Start with what you actually know. Take a look at your life. What have you been doing the past week, past month? All of these things affect how you feel and what your body needs. And another important thing, just because you're not doing anything doesn't mean you're relaxing. Just because you're not working on something doesn't mean you're intentionally slowing down. Doesn't mean you're not being hard on yourself. Yes, I may be lounging, eating on the couch, but that doesn't mean I'm not completely loathing myself in this moment and like, where's the motivation? Like, why am I not doing something? This time could be used for this. It's just like this constant barrage of all these things I could be doing other than the thing I'm doing right now, which is nothing. There's something to be said about the pressure to always be on the go. And I have that. I feel lazy a lot of the time. I feel like I'm not doing enough a lot of the time. It's a really hard thing to get out of. But something that's helped me is I've started saying at the start of the day that I'm not going to do anything today. That's the goal. That's the bar I set. Certain mornings, I'm just like, I'm not going to do anything today. Otherwise, the day feels really undecided. Like it could be so much. If I set aside the intention to do nothing one day and I happen to do something, that's just a bonus. That is not a norm. The norm is nothing. Oh, it's so freeing. I find when I do that, I take the day with so much more openness to it. Like it could be anything, but I'm not making it be anything. You know, there's already this pressure of doing things and being hyper productive and making sure that you make use of all the time you have because you only have this many days left to live in the world and you better make use of it. Let me live. Let me breathe. I don't need the pressure. There are phases in my life where things like that are useful, but it's not all the time. I don't need another reminder that I'm a day closer to dying every day. It could be very empowering, but I'm not gonna lie to you, it feels very depresso. You're already starting your day with this perspective of not enough. It's debilitating. Just recognize it's hard to do work on yourself. You're picking apart things about yourself and you're finding, do I like this? Why do I do this? Is this worth keeping? Is this worth letting go? Facing all of your past mistakes, all of the shame, all of the guilt, all of the ugly things about yourself that you don't like. It's like you sit down and then there's this table full of things that you just can't quite look at, but it's you and you have to face it. You're not gonna know how you're doing in that moment. It's gonna take time. It's always with looking back that you realize, I'm actually not the same person I was 5 years ago. A lot of time has passed and I'm just a little different. Listen, you're not gonna be perfect, ever. You're not going to be the perfect daughter. You're not going to be the perfect sister. You're not going to be the perfect friend, the perfect girlfriend, the perfect wife, the perfect mother. So just unburden yourself of this pressure to be perfect. Let's instead aim for helpful. Let's be a helpful friend, a helpful human being. All the negative talk you have about yourself that's not helping. I think there's definitely use for knowing your shortcomings, but don't berate yourself because of it. It's helpful to know those things so you can be better, but not to make yourself feel worse. This is not an exhaustive list of things I've learned through therapy, but I would say that they're pretty key with helping me be more like myself and that I'm transitioning between different phases of my life in a way that makes sense for that season in my life. There's a lot of shields that I had up that I didn't realize were shields. These lessons have definitely made me slow down a bit and be more gentle. Be more gentle with my friends. I'm sure that if I asked them, they would agree. There's a lot of work that happened in the past few years. Honestly, it's made me like me. It's made me like me a lot more. I've become a lot more gentler, but definitely still judgmental. Judging's fun though. Judging's fun. Judging is a pastime. Judging is like hanging out with a childhood friend. I don't have you over all the time, but when I do, I know it's a fun time. Judging in a healthy way. A lot of judging myself, honestly though.